In early 80s and 70s, we had a lot of elephants in Shikabeta and buffaloes.
Kunali nyama zambili bamne tunagwantinga.
When the Minister of Tourism banned no safari hunting to take place in this area, all the poachers from the tarmac came and killed the animals. There was a terrible poaching in this area.
There's no source of income here. They can't do farming because the land is not fertile for that.
We had severe hunger. The area had nothing.
Thank you very much.
And like I said to you, you bring us valid information.
Thank you very much.
You bring us information, good information.
All right.
If we make arrests, I pay you for that information.
All right.
No matter religion, politics, or background, as long as humans have walked on 2 feet, they have had a relationship with the earth and its wildlife. They hunted for food, to create tools and to stay warm. They followed the animal migrations and the fish runs. They harvested fruit, mushrooms, and honey. All produced what they needed to survive. Humans adored their lodges with skins, skulls, horns, and claws, proving an ability to provide for the people. As mankind evolved from a hunting and gathering society to cultivating the land and domesticating animals, their relationship with wild animals changed. Humans began to multiply. Their relationship and reliance on nature was disconnected. Food production was industrialized. The natural habitats of wild animals disappeared, slashed and burned and plowed under. Domestic animal parts became interwoven with the very fabric of society: food, clothing, cosmetics, and medicine. Due to this disconnect with nature, humans began to think wild animals were an extension of humanity. Wildlife was no longer wild. Today, around the world, wild animals only remain in small pockets of habitat. Will they survive? Zambia and the lower Luano game management area stretches out over 1.2 million acres. It's almost the size of the state of Delaware. It's so remote, some young residents have never seen a white man. From the early days of Zambia's history through the 1980s, it was known as one of the crown jewels of African safari hunting. It was once the home of healthy populations of Africa's Big Five: elephant, rhino, lion, leopard, and Cape buffalo. Safari hunting bans in 1987 and again in 2002 and 2003 ushered in the wholesale slaughter of wild game. After the hunting bans, jobs and income the safari industry provided disappeared. The safari hunting industry was tasked with protecting the animals, but when they left, uncontrolled subsistence and game meat poaching occurred unhindered. The Zambian government labeled the area as game depleted, thus no legal hunting has occurred for almost 2 decades. For over 500 years, the Luano has been the historic home of the Soli people. They are subsistence farmers whose lives ebb and flow with the whims of nature. Drought, floods, insects, human-wildlife conflict, and disease all play a part in their constant struggle to survive. The leader of the Soli people in the Lower Luano is a woman, Her Royal Highness Chief Shikabeta.
Nebintu basabafesi twatwayiwananga ndabanyama nkashikwani bantu kushina mapocha pano tulawono lava umo vandanga mukatupe kunfi vambi vachi vakaisa vakatuinja vakatunyamvirisheko kuno afu kuno twapenga tuli apo chakulya kuno chakulya tona tukutuletera masukulu kuliya minshi kuliya vana va sukulu vatukashi valepera kuya kusukulu bifo kai vaka ndalama kuliya chakuya kwamba chimwana la pasi kuya kutawi kuya kusukulu kilakanganga mlandu wa upenshi na maisha yao vapenga malia ndalama kwamba tinfale mwana kusukulu mlandu wa upenshi kumkwetu katitwa penga maningi epunda mantango kushaka mindimini kwamba nyande yani nani Norton safari operator.
I was running a customs clearing company, customs clearing and forwarding company in Lusaka.
Epunda imana ku office ko kwendi ndia kuya kuboma ndamwine ndamu yanda.
And she said, well, I've come to see you because I've got a problem. It was her coming to me saying, we want you to come here. I said to her, all right, no problem, we'll come and have a look.
Echibalanchia kwamba chibana bale wanga pa utwanike kuno titwaikala kuno kandanga mwana mumutunya ufirisheko mwikale kuno Norton lava umo.
And she came to us and she said, I need my area to be a GMA. But I want it to be done in such a way that my people and the community can benefit from that.
Makasa safari yao tulawononga wachinyama chilaingaisa choni chilafulunga chilawonekenga chaina.
She knew that if something wasn't done, the wildlife that they've got in this area would basically have been lost.
Vana walawononga ntito mlandu wa jani wanyama walawononga jani bantu vainsa safari amakasa vainsa safari ndalama chilapulu.
She doesn't have an education. She cannot speak English. But it does not decry from her intelligence or her ability to lead her people. And we had a meeting in the community with, I think there must have been 75 odd people. The chief plus the senior princess, Agnes, was there, Kalunga. We had this amazing meeting. The women in this area, when they are taken to by something, when they have some interest in their head, they start ululating. And they start ululating, and they all just got up and they started. And the chieftainess was doing the same thing, and I realized that we'd made an impact. Something like this was going to work. And a woman stood up and asked me, what are you doing here? How long are you going to be here for? The last operator, we didn't even know what he looked like, and he was here for 10 years. And how long are you going to be here for? And I looked at her, and I said to her, when we're done with this meeting, you go outside and you get a pick and a shovel. You see that big tree over there? You dig a hole that's 6 foot long, 3 feet wide, and 6 feet deep. And leave that hole like that. When I die, you take me and bury me in that hole.
There are many threats in the Luano, antipathy towards the chief by dark forces looking to steal land to the criminal poaching gangs. Some Western governments are considering hunting trophy import bans. We asked Her Royal Highness what effect these bans, which would eliminate the importation of legally harvested wildlife by tourist hunters, would have on her people.
Tunyamfilishinga fwe kuno hapo nikukanisa nyama kushinani bashina kwishingana chakwera kuberengewawa ne kwamba tibashine shonse
As we are now, we are conserving. There's no hunting which is taking place because of conservation. We are conserving the wild animals so that they grow.
Mwachalisha nyamashi mlashini moyo wetu, mlashini umoyo wa wana wetu. Ekai mtu tocha inandalama mopere unyama.
A chief of a community is their god, is their leader, is their president.
Na kliniki kulia, kliniki munga kuno kulia kliniki.
We don't have clinics, we don't have schools, we don't have good roads, we don't have networks, towers. We want to communicate with other people, but we can't manage.
Mujishi mwetu chitukuko, tulandanga chitukuko, maskulu, sekondari, kulia. Tulandanga chitukuko.
She's just a tiny little woman, but dynamite comes in small packages.
Chief Shikabeta had found her safari operator.
I was born in Zambia. My dad came out to Zambia immediately after the Second World War and joined the British government in the game department. He was one of the people that helped to demarcate the national parks because they wanted to put preserves in place so that the game could be looked after. I've grown up with the essences in my mind of conservation and of the sustainable use of the wildlife. I had the privilege of hunting in Luana back in 1988 or 1989. There was a lot of elephant, a lot of buffalo, a lot of game. For the last 20 years, there's not a single hunting license that's been bought by any safari operator in this area. The reason for that was that the safari companies didn't believe that the area was viable.
Well, Roland came and told me that a chieftainess had walked into his office and had asked him to please take over a depleted hunting area, a GMA. I actually said to him, I don't think this is a wise thing to go ahead and do.
The area is quite hostile. It's very hilly, it's very rocky. Because it's so difficult for people to grow crops here, and because of the big populations of particularly baboons and monkeys, bush pig, warthog, they found that when they tried to grow crops, the crops were being devastated by the wildlife. So they then looked at that and said, okay, if we can't make use of the crop, we'll make use of the wildlife. So then they started now putting out snares and started harvesting the wildlife for themselves.
The wildlife, say, around here was non-existent. There was really nothing. I mean, the amount of snares that we've taken out, it's a wonder how anything was even still alive back then.
Bushmeat in Africa is a major source of income. It's very high on the menu list for people in the cities. Everybody feels that it's their right to eat bushmeat, and they always have done, and so they still will do, and people know that they can market their bushmeat in the cities.
So we've had our roots here from before, and it's nice to come back here, but it's definitely not like it was in the 80s.
If you can teach them and show them that if they leave the animal alive, you can selectively harvest animals from their wildlife populations, and they can get a benefit from that harvest, they're much more likely to help you to look after them. In Luana, the community were basically ignored. And as a result of that, the communities then took over and tried to use that resource for themselves by poaching, by snaring, by taking out what wildlife they could, in an area that's very difficult for people to exist in anyway. There were very, very few village scouts that were operational in the area. They were being paid an incredibly nominal amount of money, and they were being given no support at all. They had no uniforms, they had no boots. There were very, very few scouts. I think there were only maybe 8 or 10, and the amount of anti-poaching work that they did, who knows? Who knows what it was? I would have to say that it was the barest minimum. We've had to invest ourselves in firearms that we've bought from local gun dealers and then handed them over, donated them to the government, who have then licensed them and then given them back to our scouts for our anti-poaching program. We've given them uniforms, we give them proper rations, we give them everything they need to go out and safely do a patrol in the bush to look for poachers and to keep poachers away from this area. We've given people employment because we know that the benefit of that is going to come. It's going to come from the wildlife. If you stop people from coming in here and paying a tourist dollar to hunt an animal, the people here will go back to where they were before. The employable person will leave this area. They will leave the old, they'll leave the very young. And it's unthinkable to think that it's not the wildlife that are going to be giving those people that income.
We've got two kinds of poaching. We've got the local poachers, they'll go out to take an impala or a warthog or something, they'll run them with a few dogs. They'll kill just to feed their family and that. The big poaching that they do is with snaring. When people put snares, it's obviously in strategic places, so our scouts know most of the people here, everyone's related to everyone. We give rewards to the community that give us any information on who the poachers are or they suspect. If you've got weapons, if you've got snares, surrender them. I will pay a reward, and we paid rewards. We got literally thousands of snares. And if we catch them, we get them to do some community work. They'll make blocks for a school, all community stuff.
He used to work in our camp, one of the few guys down here that we always employ. But he decided to take the other road this time.
Then we've got the other level of poaching. We've got two places where the poaching is, where our main poachers come from. That's Mwiba and Chimusanya. Mwiba's a bad place. It's known as a poaching town. So they've got their fixed paths where they come in, and we know where they're coming in on. So we set up ambushes and all that.
You want Daniel? Yeah, at the point to block them again, man.
They know that if they fire a shot, it's very likely that will alert our scouts, and the scouts will then zone in on where the shot was made and then very quickly get onto the track or trail of the poachers. Remember that once they've killed an animal, they need to pick it up and carry it out and take it away to where it's going to be safe for them to process the meat.
But the commercial poachers that come in here, there'll generally be 2 or 3 guys that come in together. These guys are tough. I mean, they'll walk in during the night, they'll leave their place at 8 o'clock at night, they'll be in here by 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. They lay up the day, they hide, and that night they go out with little tilly lamps, headlights, spotlights and that. And then they try and sneak right up, and they'll sit by water holes or something, or they call the game in. Every animal has to drink at some stage, so they just sit by the water holes. Generally, they'll target kudu. Because it's a bigger animal, they're not going to risk shooting just to get enough meat, like 5 impala or something. They'll shoot a kudu, they dry it. Now they don't even dry it anymore because they know we'll be onto them. So what happens is they shoot it, they cover it up, they mark it, and then they'll go into cell phone signal. They call what they call their runners. The runners will come in, 7, 8 guys will cut it that kudu that night and get it out under darkness.
Death is all around in the Luano. Poachers have depleted almost all the game animals. Blackson is a poacher. At 45 years of age, he knows no other line of work. He poaches not only to feed his family of 8, but to make money. He kills game and dries it, then sells it along the tar road which leads back to the capital of Zambia, Lusaka.
Kaya nikwenzaje twatenga wa nguluwe. Tuishe kanike kutea nyama. Hapa fesi ndio tumitengo manje hapa ni tuna kutea kwa kawaya hapa. Hapa pamapita tu nyama maningi hapa. So kufunika wateya at least. Sometimes ungaguliseko wapezako kandalama pangono kuchitira chiwa jesirako wana waziwa. Hapa manje ni nkani ya kutea manje hapa. Chiteko kawaya hapa manje zona. Zona. Pero ni saize wanguluwe. Hapa chitee tupayeko kudu. Shambololo njili. Ijua. Tumauzu totela manje hapa. Hapa manje nkani yake na yamba kupangika. Kutipa chinyame nazo wa kutea potea maningi. Peza chapa chio ground. Tesa za ampala. Hapa manje tasiri za kutea hapa. Nika nyama ikabwela hapa ikakashiwe. Hapa nkani yoenda kunyumba mailo nikabwenga checking yako. Hapa nina mawaya 15 hapa. Amene natea hapa so pa 15 hapa zona pakapita 1 week. Hapa nienda na pesa kwa hapa zona chini nkaleko mushe. Nyumba ningadikulise kuna pesa kutukandrama na gulako bakuja njara chino chaka izachipaya.
Poaching is a complex issue, but without jobs and food stability, poaching will never end and wildlife will pay the ultimate price.
This was our first step with the community in looking after the community, looking after people in form of employment and providing a source of protein on their doorstep.
The fish farm has brought job opportunities to our local communities. It has brought some income.
We've got several fish farm projects. The main one that we started off with at Kapanda here consists of 6 tanks, 95,000 litre tanks. With a circulating system, you control every aspect of that fish's environment. You control the water quality, you control the air coming in there, everything is controlled by us. Currently, we are stocking our tanks at the lowest density at about 5,000 fish per tank. It takes anywhere from 8 to 10 months, depending on the time of year. You are looking at feeding between 500 and 600 kilograms of feed into each tank to get close to a ton of fish. We don't have electricity out here. Everything we have here is running on solar power, generator power, diesel motors. We spend about 10,000 kwacha on diesel usage per month for all 6 tanks to keep the blower running, to keep the batteries charged up and to keep the water pumps going. Very little profit gets made from it. We're basically running it at break even. If we had electricity coming past the fish farm here, it would be a whole different story. Then the system would be ideal for the circumstances here.
Source of income here in Shikabeta is a challenge. So the employment of those people that are even bringing money in the community.
If it makes a profit, then happy days. We'll plow that money straight back into the community. If it doesn't make a profit, it doesn't matter, it'll still make fish. And the fish will be a trade-off. Instead of them taking an impala or a kudu in a snare, they can take fish. We were shocked to find out that the river had been pillaged. The fish farm was not only to supply the people, but we made sure that the fish that we were breeding there was fish that had been endemic to the river and were endemic to the river. So we could release fish into the river and help the fish stocks in the river. We've managed to release a huge amount of fish back into the river.
Getting fish to the local community is another issue. The solution for the Nortons was to build dams or reservoirs in other parts of the GMA, which then they would stock the waters with mature fish from the farm. The next step was teaching the community how to fish with a pole, line, and hook. They don't allow nets in the ponds. Teaching the people of Shikabeta to conserve the fish by not over-harvesting the ponds, the community has another reliable source for protein, which should last for years to come.
This fish farm here was the start of a lot of big things out here. And if you look at it that way, then it's been very successful.
You can just see the happiness. The kids are all smiling now, and life has changed a lot in the 2 years we've been here. And definitely for the better, for us too.
With only 2 medical clinics in the entire Lower Lawano, over 5,000 people have to travel long distances to get medical care. The clinics are staffed by government-paid nurses who have little medicine or medical supplies on hand.
We provide free health services to everyone that comes through. HIV testing and screening. Then there's also labor ward where a woman can come and deliver for free here.
Mostly it's malaria. About 5%, 5 to 10% of the community, I would say, are the ones that have HIV.
You don't have to go to the witch doctors or African medicine sometimes, you know. There's help already. We're trying to increase our health education so that people know it's okay.
Without good medical care, upward movement for this community is non-existent.
Alcohol is very, very sensitive. These youngsters, they drink. Many are the ones who are always at the beer party, drinking. They don't have time to think of planting or growing some other things. They are busy with beer. So many men have failed even to look after their own families.
On top of disease and alcoholism, access to food is a major concern.
I need almost about 30 by 50 bags so that I can manage to feed my families.
We're receiving a lot of teenage pregnancies. When they see a child reaches puberty, the poverty levels are just too high. So there's nothing much, there's no income. Others will sell off their daughter so that, you know, they can be receiving just minor income out of that child.
Older men, those who have been successful as farmers or even poaching, will add a second or third wife. These men are often 15 to 30 years older than their child brides. During my first visit, I met a very young woman who claimed to be 18. It was obvious she was maybe 14. 1 year later, I interviewed her.
Nilipagate. Ati mara utawa kuti mzanga kalako kulusaka, mara utawa kuti mzanga kalako kundola.
Stingalo degaitizo tichine mabuto.
There's no hope for these young girls unless the community can break the cycle of poverty. It will take a major effort to bring an end to child brides.
Raising children in remote Africa is not easy. Threats abound at every stage of life.
So
they were cleaning the plates, washing plates, so the crocodile came to catch my daughter.
Vanachita kuchipoka chabe ni. 'Cause 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 'cause
Where we find the crocodile, we try to shoot the crocodile. So now we charge with 2 braids.
Vanabwera pa chingwena nachipeza na waya mumkoso.
I found my daughter now. I was just crying myself, nothing to do. She was 11 years old.
A cup or a pot marks a grave. A headstone is a luxury.
Nchindu choipa mapocha kutea mawaya.
The poachers, they are the one who killed my daughter.
When Mikasa Safari set up in the Loano, Blackson turned a new leaf and enlisted as a game scout. His job now was to protect the wild animals he used to target as a poacher.
Ndalama kaidi muno mwatu tinali kudalira ukapaya nyama nje pamene upeza kaukonda ndalama pa nyumba. Kupaya nyama ili na ndalama manje problem ina risking yoke kuyenda msanga onkhala woyopa so onkhala womasuka. Pati kweve kukabula na nyama kuyenda mukugulisa awe mwe ina ndalama mani. Chamene tinalenga kuti tisiye kuyenda ita-poaching kuyenda uyala msanga munja. Nikamba kuti Makasa pamene inabwera yangenesa vanchito vambiri mascout. So kuti manje kwamene ningeende mukuzungulukira kuti nipaye nyama nikuti kwamene ninga vazwenga kuti nipaye nyama. Peza malo achepa. Nikajoine naine waja wanzangu amene nali kuyenda nao mja maete mwinangu mja wazayo pamocho Blackson pamene angena pamanje. Kuja wazi wako azakachigwira kulipe kuyenda kunibisa. Aba manje zero za mechi masevenze sakali tunalipocha kutala so muja mamene wama nali kuyenda wayala muja. Na isemani kali chizi wamo so chimaenda mamene muja che mukapeza mendo za pita chapi nikamba kuponka che. Mwakonka kumazwana zoa chiwa pamene wayenda hapa kuli manzi niu. So manje ni kujuwira chapi kuyenda kumanzi ni kupeza ho. Chimambe mchima kuipa nkachapa nyama so chikampeza chima mugwira ule uyo kai chikagwira uyo. Ishikuja ndalama zatu zienda pa mwamba chifule sakona kabonasi kajambanya yameka chitumshamba ningi kugwira muto. Chichikagwira at least kazakulako kandalama manje. Apa mame chinambira nchito mame anabulera Makasa apa nyama taona za bwela. Chinga kampe kuti vapitirize kubwela chabe osachi vankhale vavalesa kuti vakanopanya funika chenya makazibwela kupa makilanti kuti naife kuno chikazipezako bwino kainga chichisunga chabe vija vintu sivikufa na benefit ya nyama singaoneka.
Protecting the animals in the Loano means an open bush war against the criminal bushmeat gangs. Since the Game Scouts have pushed these gangs out to the fringes of the GMA, the gangs have responded by putting out contracts to kill both Alister and Roland Norton. This is a shooting war where poachers shoot first and ask questions later. Poachers have used the Game Scouts' tactics against them by having a gang member call with an offer for information in order to set a trap. Scouts have been wounded. Firing bullets is meant to kill. The scouts wait until dark before engaging in any actions based on tips.
We are meeting him by the road, or if we are going to his house. So that is a straightforward operation. We all know what we're going to do. We go in, we get out.
Halo.
Halo, tafika patama kai. Okay. Okay, tuzakupeza kwa menu. Okay.
The Nortons offer 1,000 kwacha for a poacher to turn in a firearm. It's a lot of money for these impoverished people. As the sun sets, tensions rise. No one knows if this raid will go bad. Will someone get shot?
We've confiscated, a lot of them are homemade shotgun and muzzleloaders. Close to 48 now. Not all of the weapons were in operation. We have taken out some AK-47s.
It's dark and we head to the poachers' village.
This road going back down, so we're turning left, huh?
We've had poachers that have been put in prison and then come back out of prison and voluntarily have surrendered their firearms to us.
The poacher signals to scouts to stop.
So that they could either verify or prove to us that they're not poachers anymore, or that they really don't want to be tempted because they've got a gun and they don't want to go back into the bush because it was so dehumanizing for them to go into prison and be detained for them being poachers and being convicted.
An old Enfield 303 rifle, a military weapon.
Why are you giving this gun back?
I don't want to go back again to jail.
How long were you in jail?
Oh, 6 months. I surrendered this gun. I don't want to be a poacher again.
When you were a poacher, what did you poach? What animals? What kinds of animals?
Buffaloes, impar.
Where were you tying buffalo and Rapunza?
West Petal, yes, one. Thank you very much.
And like I said to you, you bring us valid information.
Thank you very much.
You bring us information, good information.
All right.
If we make arrests, I pay you for that information.
All right. No problem.
Come and talk to us.
Yes, I have.
How many children do you have?
I have 4 children.
One wife or more?
One wife.
And what are you going to use the money for?
I want starting a business.
What kind of business?
A charcoal business.
One poacher out of business, but wishes to start another operation. Though legal, charcoal production has dire consequences not only for the Lowano, but all of Africa. Our poacher-turned-informant wants to start a charcoal business. Charcoal production is a major problem in the Lowano, a leading contributor to deforestation and the loss of wildlife habitat. Few, if any, charcoal producers are legally permitted, nor is there any government oversight.
Cutting, yes, growing, after growing manje, kulonga squeeze. Ugamba okuma manje magadi kumatamata manje kusiza na kitofu pamwamba na kufaka muliro. Yes, na kungenesa mtengo ikayaka muja mkati nikuvala. So chapya tenga 3 days hapa chikupya cheda so chankara so chenze so chonyamuka chonsi. So manje chapya manje chenda down. Yes, so ni marasha ndia ya ina chosa. This saka umoze chizi 50 kwacha.
50 kwacha?
Yes,
big bag like
big bag, yes. Tipanga kwa mavuto, ribe chakudya kuno kwatu.
You guys ambiri akudya nyama huko.
Mani mkati kuliwa game mamanga.
Sure. Nanga imashoya hapo kungena.
It's become an economic driver throughout Africa. According to the United Nations, Africa's charcoal production represents 60% of the world's output. During the previous 4 years, Makasa's Game Scouts have confiscated from poachers over 15,000 wire snares and more than 250 homemade shotguns and muzzleloaders. The job is not done, but wildlife populations are responding. The people of Shikabeta are doing their part to protect their wildlife. Will they continue to see positive development in their area?
achipelele njovu zasira. Aya madinu ni mabizinesi yanu, achipelele njovu zasira. Lelo taisa esa kuvunavuna nila yasungia nyama, nyama zatu zasira. Lelo taisa esa kuvunavuna nila yasungia nyama, nyama zatu zasira. Izi nyama zizamakosa chapa izi tisumira inu anyasokolo. Izi nyama zizamakosa chapa izi tisumira inu anyasokolo. Lelo taisa esa kuvunavuna ndila yasungira nyama, nyama zatu zasira.
All is not well in the community, as some don't want to see change.
Ona ijiji kutosirira kunyanganisa chonjino bana mfuka kusani kuti body jam Chikabeta malisensa lisensa macha definite mana mulungule ule maji mule unambaje maji isusu iwe ndikoya kwantu kwa ushiba ula baje ngandana kudaza mwibachi ina mwana ndadera hapo.
The problems in this community are deep-seated. This man is a poacher.
When you work so hard to try and uplift the values and the way of life and the well-being of a community, that have been down at that poverty level for such a long time.
What you find about Yako and owner?
You get huge successes.
Seven.
He's got 7 children. You got no wife?
I've got my wife.
Where's your wife?
For myself.
Yeah, mkazi alikoti?
And then you go out and somebody in the middle of the day walks up to you and he starts literally spitting in your face because he is so drunk.
Don't ask me about that 2 questions at the same time. Can you be a No,
I don't have any cards yet.
You don't.
I look at that and I say, am I wasting my time being in a place like this? Surely we have failed or we are failing. He doesn't work. He's never worked a day for us. We're about the only employer in the area. So where he gets money from to be able to drink and get drunk, I have absolutely no idea.
I know. If I don't have money, what am I supposed to do? You choke up with you. I choke up. What's the disturb?
You actually need to get out of what this community are trying to do because you've become an exception.
Not 2 weeks after filming with Chief Shikabeta in October of 2018, she was poisoned.
And when I got the message that the chief was sick, we sent a vehicle, get her to a hospital as quickly as possible.
Yeah, tinambira chabina isenkani ya chigayo chinabwera kuri ba chief champion chinapaswa ku plan kuti kuona na pass kwa wana wanaenda. Cho chigayo chioneka ndicho chinaleta kuna ngozi kukuza kuti ba.
It seems a hammer mill, a gift to the people from the president's office, was misappropriated by one of her retainers. The chief confronted the retainer, asking it be returned. 3 days later, the chief complained of stomach pains. A week later, in a hospital in Lusaka, she was dead.
Vanamvika kuti vanapai wanalozedwa ku vantu vamukomboni vamene venza kusevenza nawo machifiri tena ndiye anatenga mankhwala kuvaikira kuti vamwalira vachifi vatu.
She was an elderly person, but she was not in poor health, and so her death was a big shock to everybody.
There's definitely something was not right. Something was certainly not right.
Roland asked Stephen, another retainer, who killed the chief.
They accused him of being the one who killed the former previous chief.
Yes.
And did he accept? Did he admit?
No, he cannot say anything.
Her Royal Highness is sick. Saturday, 19 hours, she left us. It was just a sudden death, Monty.
So by him being quiet, that means that he knows that he's the one.
Yeah.
For me, she was our mother, and she was a bastion of strength to us.
It was terrible, terrible. It was a great loss.
We've all been very well aware for a long time that if you want to do good, that there's always people that will want to try to stop you from doing that good. When we started getting intelligence back from people in this area about who these bushmeat poachers were or are, we realized that a lot of them had formed themselves into very, very careful military-style gangs. And they were using AK-47s. Where they were getting them from, we have no idea. It was a very, very carefully put together gang. And because the gang is so sophisticated, we knew that at some point we were going to be threatened. And when we go out on patrol, we make sure that we're well armed. And so it wasn't long before we got rumors and feedback from the community that there were hits that were put on both myself and Alister, my son. At one stage, an AK-47 bullet found its way into one of our vehicles. And we took that as being a warning that we needed to be very, very careful in how we do our business from the anti-poaching point of view. A lot of the gangs that we've encountered when we first moved into this area have been disbanded. Our community support us hugely. We get intelligence, we get informal reports that come back to us that are leads that really, really help us to make arrests, to be able to protect certain parts of the area from the invasion of poachers, maybe from other areas or from the national park. I think that all in all, we've got a pretty good management system here going, and it seems to be working, and certainly from the wildlife's point of view, it's working very, very well indeed.
After the customary mourning period of 6 months, the Royal Council of Shikabeta named a new chief. They chose a woman. She is from the same bloodlines as the old chief. She is young, educated, and excited to lead her people out of poverty.
I'm Shikabeta. I'm 42 years old. I was working as an accountant at Nakonde DC Council before I became a chieftainess. I was born here. Yes, here in Shikabeta. Yes, this is my home. This is my village.
If now people like here in Shikabeta, they have seen now the importance of the animals because of what Makas has done here. People here, most of them, they are not educated. That's where the problem is. That's what is hindering the development here in Shikabeta. I think these people, they start as early as 6 hours drinking. I can see there where I am. And I think the other reason why people, they drink here, there's no employment here. That's what is causing them to start drinking in the morning. And also poverty. We want to develop this chiefdom. If the animals, they have no value, these people here in the village, they'll start killing them. There will be poaching now. Poaching will be more here.
I asked if the community should realize a benefit from their wildlife conservation work.
No, those people, they don't have a right to tell us not to kill the animals or to benefit from the animals which we are keeping here.
But this new chief will be tested by forces beyond her control. Young and inexperienced, will she be able to provide for people's needs and protect the Lowano? In the Lowano, with food stability being addressed, a youth football league has started. Like any local business in a community, the Nortons, through Makasa Safaris, sponsors the team. After my first trip to the Lowano in 2017, I shared the imagery with the non-profit African Children's Schools. The next day, we were on the phone with the Nortons. Within 1 week, money for 2 new schools, plus uniforms and teachers' salaries, was wired to Zambia.
We've committed ourselves with African Children's Schools. These schools have been an absolute astounding success.
Shikabeta is a beautiful place. There are a lot of people there. And when I came here, it was all bush. There was no classroom. It was just bush like on the other side. Every day for almost 1 full year, I was walking about 20 kilometers from Shikabeta school compound there. In the morning, I come for work. In the evening, I go back to sleep.
The school at Nyakantingi, we built a double classroom block there. We were budgeting on having around about 60 or 70 kids that would be going to that school every day. And when the school opened, there weren't enough desks to seat all the kids, so they eventually ended up by doing 3 shifts a day, and there were nearly 300 kids that were going to that school.
And now I'm very happy that Makasa has constructed a school there. Yeah, they have really helped us.
Between all of our game scouts, our permanent employees, and our casual workers that work on contract base when we're building schools and all of that, we spend on monthly anywhere from 80 to 100,000 kwacha. That's 100,000 kwacha coming into an area where there was nothing before. That money has had a huge impact on people's lives out here. People all of a sudden now in their mud huts have got televisions. Kids, when they graduate from junior school or high school, now they can have an opportunity to possibly go to a college in Lusaka because the family's got a bit of an income.
I called all the parents. I told them that Makasa Safaris is actually on the ground. Just after the desks came, boxes of uniforms. If you saw your children come to school wearing the clothes that you had put on them and then they go back home wearing those uniforms, it's not us, it's actually Makasa.
We found out that there were kids in that area that had never gone to school.
Since Makasa came in, a lot of children have started going to school.
So in a sense, we are saying if we have more animals, there can be job creation.
The same thing happened at the other school that we built with African Children's Schools, which is Kapanda. We ran out of uniforms, we ran out of school desks for them, and the reason for that is because there were so many kids that came from the north of the river. They were coming across in dugout canoes every morning to come across to the school.
If that was spread across Shikabeta, this would be a very beautiful place, especially for the children. My heart is for the children.
Now I want somebody to come and write the ING, the word kick, to make it sensible, to make it have meaning.
That is an incredible asset to the community and an incredible sign of success.
If this can continue, a lot of children from the remote area are going to get the education that they deserve.
Utuntu balance twa echifuko tuma monga patunzo gira na visamba vikulu maningi
hapa manje numbers yake ya chepako but nsomba yake ya kula
tunzo sensa ma 3 inches maenda twateya panangu tumaenda twachitamonga twa kimpingako so maenda magonerako kacha kuseni mabwera so.
Small net sizes allow fishermen to take too many small fish, which doesn't allow for fish to mature and reproduce. Because Makasa Game Scouts enforce larger net size restrictions, the fish populations are growing.
Nsomba ifetuanga ba Makasa kuti nsomba za paka batusungira batupunzisa kusunga ero tugira za mushe za bwino somba.
Oh, mfuno kuona ndrama mutumba.
Mutumba nione.
Onani. Onani. Onani ili kuti.
Mwaika kwinango.
Kulipe kwinango. Kulipe olo muchecking.
Zasala muja mwamba muja.
Also, Makasa is giving soft loans to our women here without any interest. Our women, they have also started small businesses. It has made a change, to a lot of people to start taking their children to school.
But it's an interest-free loan that we give them so that they can start their own little businesses. This one here is I'm applying for a loan of 1,500 kwacha, which is about $130. And so we do this so that the women can start to try to empower themselves somehow to get some soft loans. And they buy salt, they buy mealie meal, they buy sugar, they buy cooking oil, they buy these type of clothes, we call it chitenge, and they bring it back into the area and they sell it, and then they give us back the loans in 3 or 4 months' time. But it's a way that the women in the area can become somehow empowered. And also to teach themselves to become a little bit of entrepreneurs as well.
I think they have done a lot because it has also improved their standard of living.
It's our way of trying to give them a little bit of hope for themselves for the future.
In December 2018, I was at the fish farm in Kapunda, looking at a huge pile of wire snares. I understood that they disposed of them by throwing them in concrete for dams and foundations. I had an idea: hire local community women to repurpose the wire snares into bracelets. One bracelet represents one animal saved in the wild. Today, Makasa has 8 women working full-time to manufacture bracelets for both women and men. The Shepherds of Wildlife Society is tasked with marketing and sales back in the United States. We hope these bracelets will fund Shepherd's mission to reconnect modern society with nature, plus soft business loans to the women in the community, and an education scholarship fund allowing young women to attend secondary school or possibly college. A highlight for me was being able to hire the child bride I'd featured in the film, Nyala Zulu.
Africa is a hunting continent, and that hunting has got to have a benefit to the local communities. If it doesn't give that benefit back to those local communities, then the anti-hunting people, those misguided people that think that they know the answer to these questions, haven't even asked themselves the proper question. They don't understand. The people of Shikabeta are totally and utterly going to become dependent on the income from the wildlife.
Kuti safadi manje bwere manje ya makasa paka tapezamu na mwai ya nshito taamba kudisamu na vana kunkhala bwino shito ni chintu cha bwino maningi.
The anti-hunting community will say no more leopard into America, no more lion into America, no more leopard into Europe or whatever. What I'm saying to them is that that is such an immature, short-sighted policy. It will ensure the destruction of those species in Africa. If you tell us here that the lion have no value, then what's the point in having the lion here? We may as well take the lion out, because they're killing the antelope and the other animals that you're saying do have value.
Nyama zingabwere mminda zangena zadi asitinga pai chifukwa chakuti ati tifuna kuti zipaki zikapaka vakabwera vacha hunting wa makasa zati pasako chitukuko chakuti ati ngati tipaya tiononga nyama nishikulibe chitukuko mwili ya mwatu.
Going back to what I'd like out of it, in the last 10 years of our 20-year lease period, I would love to be able to take a full bag quota every year out of this area without affecting the population of wildlife at all. I'd like to make sure that the community are the people that directly benefit from that. I'd like to see in the last 10 years that everything that we've done in the first, we can get back, because the area can be able to give it back to us because of what we've done in the first 10 years.
Change is constant in Loano, but the unthinkable has happened.
You know, witchcraft in Zambia, particularly out here in this area, people are very scared of it.
We got our new chief, a wonderful woman that came in here, had amazing ideas for this area, and she just brought a breath of fresh air to the people. She brought hope for the people because she wanted to carry on with what the previous chief started out here.
We found out that she had fainted and that she was rushed off to hospital.
Well, she also got sick all of a sudden.
At a very young age.
And apparently she had a stroke and she died. It was very strange.
She was a very, very intelligent lady. She's an accountant by trade. From what I've met of her and what the business dealings that I had to do with her here, she was a fantastic leader for the community.
But it was something that was extremely sad because she was a wonderful person. I don't think it was any more or less sad than what the first chief's demise was, but we certainly knew the first chief better than we knew the second one.
It was widely known land speculators from South Africa, most probably greasing their way through corruption, are attempting to purchase almost a third of the Loano to sell to outside interests. But the chief had refused to sell the land. The community would not have seen any financial benefit in return. The previous chief had also refused these land grabbers.
But there's definitely foul play involved somewhere along the line in both our chiefs, and it's not a secret. So we will support whoever will be the next chief. We will work our best we can with them, and we'll take it from there and go for it. And let's hope they last for a little bit longer.
Prior to Makasa's arrival, Blackson was a top poacher. Living in a remote area, far from the Norton's eyes, his baptism to committed game scout is in question. Reports have surfaced. Blackson may be reverting to his old ways. Is he a poacher or not a poacher? Obviously, you can hear on the recording one of the men talking is Blackson.
So vantu vanali vanapeleka ripoti achinini paya nyama imomutenga mupereka mumotoka.
The smile is turning into a serious face.
Loko chili nkezi kuno kulwala chimampucha ali kukapanda so.
Mwamvera? Manje mugakamba chani pali nkani.
Iyo nkani yo. Awo nje magazi wamewa nali mapocha.
Magazi ni Blackson?
Lelo lino wamene wanali kupeleka boza nje wamene ninaboya na peza musanga.
He's concerned. You can hear it in his voice. Backpedaling, swearing it's not him on the recording.
Ati mvedani manje uyu muntu uyu scout wano anafa tukozeda azati pasa nyama sana ati pasa so ifunika manje imwe muzazi bazochita nayo chifukwa ni scout yana mwambera
nambera boss.
If a game scout is caught poaching, it's life in prison. In a prison where other inmates are poachers, maybe even poachers Blackson arrested. A man in prison can expect another man to claim his wife, live in his house, and eat his food. This is an accusation, but should it be true, it holds huge complications for Blackson.
Tinali na mavuto kumanyumba. So pamene mwabwela, matingenesi ako venango mapisu weke kaya si wonse, but kuli venango amene wanangena. Mubanja amene kuli waja wanangena waja. Waja wamene siwa sebenza, ife ngati tatengako kangono, wapezako benefit.
We are giving them the community, the first and the second rung of the ladder to stand on.
Shito ngati iliko kuno, chitawati tinkhala bwino, tipeza samo chakudya, chodisiramo bana.
We earn the respect that we're being given by the people because of what we're doing with the people, and not for the people, with the people.
This is the time when we are realizing that wildlife can mean a lot to us in our lives, because one, we are able to build schools, we are able to build the clinics through the animals.
Today I can tell you that the difference has been absolutely unbelievable, and it shows what can happen when man gets involved with nature and destroys nature, and then man then finds a way to get out of the way and let nature do what it does best and put it all back together again.
The children and we, oldest people in our community, are really happy because they know that now we are not going to lose everything. We are going to have money in our community, a lot of development in our area.
And now we can go out into the bush and we can see roan and waterbuck and go out onto the river. At night we can hear the hippo.
Ngati vativalira antimu, tizakutika njala manje zakuliratu.
Muntu angadwala chitamangira kuli amakasa atiperekera ku hospital. Uja muntu anayekufuna kumwalira apulumu. Kamba kaba ndani kawa makasa kuwama kwa mtibu.
It is totally and utterly essential for every animal that's going to exist to be able to earn its own keep.
Fani kama clients wabula kuchoka ku America kulikonse kuti batitandizira ngati tiza kulibe ma clients tizabwerera pambuyo nyama zizasira ni ma problems futi amene tizankhala nayo kuti tikaambe ku building kuti tikachite challenge tikachite conserve zizangala yotivuta.
In the short time that we've been here, the difference is absolutely astronomical. We have to keep our courage of our convictions.
We are not conserving for nothing. We are conserving to see the better change for our future.
Come here. Come and see what we're doing. Without people like us,
there will be no more wildlife left in these natural environments.
Kuti vakazitengako vikumba pamene vifunika. So maganiza bwino. Mumutu mwawo ni wozikonda.
We are proud to help Mother Nature restore this area back to its former glory. It's a privilege for us. For me, it's a dream
that will take me to my grave.
With over 7.5 billion humans on the planet, wildlife around the world face an unparalleled threat, the human tsunami. Imagine a peasant 1,000 years ago being told about a jet airliner. It would be beyond their wildest thoughts. When a Westerner, someone from the modern world, tell the solely they can't benefit from the resources on their own lands they have been living on for over 500 years, well, it's beyond their comprehension. The old business model for a safari hunting company must change with the needs of Africa's people and the wildlife. What the Nortons have done is chart a new path. It's a path where habitat and renewable wildlife resources are protected and managed. It's a path where the local community is given a helping hand and the responsibility to see a variety of benefits from their hard work. African governments must provide long-term agreements, and local communities grant land leases to secure development. It's the only choice if Wild Africa has any hope of surviving. Roland, Alister, and the rest of the Norton family are kindred spirits with the Soli. They are a part of the tribe. They care about the land. They care about the wildlife. And they care about the people.